Hello and welcome to the talkSPORT Goals preview show brought to you by Final One Standing. It's new from William Hill, 18 plus, gambleaware.org. I'm Sam Ellard, and joining me to look ahead to the weekend's Premier League action is Lee Phelps from William Hill. Hi Lee, how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. You mentioned Final One Standing. Over 110,000 players went out in round one. Yes, I was one of them. Anyone who was watching goals with us on Saturday saw that I'd backed Brighton and they got chinned in the, what was it, 96th minute? I mean,
Late, yeah.
unfortunate. But the picks for round two of the 500,000 jackpot game have to be in by 8 p.m. Friday, kick-off in the West Ham Chelsea game. It's not a 12:30 start this week. It's Friday at 8 p.m. And if you did get knocked out like me, or you didn't play that first round for some reason, then there's a new 50k jackpot which you can play. Same thing, 8 p.m. Friday. Get your picks in for week one of the 50k game. And if you're still involved in the 500k, like you are, Sam, then good luck for round two.
I have to say, I can't believe 110,000 people, I believe that's nearly half the people, are out already. I can't believe so many people have taken gamble. I went Man City away at Wolves. I thought nice and simple, get through. And I'm 110,000 people less than where I was this time last week. It's incredible, no?
Yeah, you're right. I mean, I suppose Chelsea are the one that is a bit unfortunate. You know, we had Tottenham with the most picked, then City, then Chelsea. So yeah, that's unfortunate. I guess you'd expect Chelsea to have won that game. But a few went Villa, Newcastle. Maybe, and the draw then takes both sets of teams out. The one that I thought, Sunderland, 7,000 of the 300,000 who entered went Sunderland, by the way. Must have all
Wow,
been Sunderland fans,
that's a
surely.
great
Well,
opening
they're
shout.
sat there in round two and they've used up one of the promoted
Yeah.
teams and they've got all the big guns left to pick.
Oh, our producer Jamie used one of the promoted teams. Unfortunately for him, he didn't go for Leeds or Sunderland. He went for the promoted team that lost 3-0 away from home on the opening day of this season. What's going on, J-Dog? Come
I
on,
tried
man.
to tell him. I tried to tell him before. We all tried to tell him. What do you do?
But the thing is, he had to go with me as well for going for Man City. Oh, you're boring. Hey, I went boring, but I'm nearly halfway through everybody else.
Who do you go this week? Who do you go this week?
I think I'm going to keep it safe again this week. I'm going to go Arsenal home to Leeds.
Yeah, well, I'm in the losers game, 50k losers game, but still.
Lee, you're a
losers
loser.
game.
I'm not interested. I've
And,
got absolutely
and
no
I'm gonna,
interest in who you've gone for.
I'm learning my lesson. I'm going Arsenal as well.
There we go. West Ham Chelsea then. First game of the Premier League weekend. Friday, 8 o'clock kickoff. West Ham, woeful, weren't they? First game away to Sunderland, losing 3-0. And of course, they went into this season having won just one of their last 8 games towards the end of last season. Pressure already on Graham Potter. Chelsea, not much better themselves. Pretty toothless in attack, drawing at home to Crystal Palace. Interestingly, not just match odds, but in terms of relegation odds. West Ham shortened already after that defeat to Sunderland.
Yeah, touch, but we've seen more interest in Graham Potter to be the first Premier League manager to go. It's an unfortunate market, isn't it? But it gets so much interest and there's so much media around it. I know I'm listening to talkSPORT after the weekend. There was a lot of chat around it. Yes, and I think the pressure will only mount if he doesn't get at least a reaction here. Now, maybe winning at home to Chelsea might be an ask. I mean, we give them a 20% chance of winning this game in the 90 minutes. Having said that, they've got a good record at home to Chelsea. They've won 5 of the last 10 in the Premier League. Admittedly, last season it was 3-0 to Chelsea. Palmer got the third, if you remember. Nicholas Jackson scored 2 in 20 minutes. Be interesting to see if he's fit enough if he starts this game, by the way, because one of the things with Chelsea last season is they were fairly toothless, weren't they? Dominated, but didn't really threaten enough. And it was Palace who, had the goal ruled out and probably had as many attempts on goal as Chelsea, despite the lack of possession. But yeah, Potter needs a reaction here. Look, I thought West Ham, I know the result looks poor, doesn't it? They actually had more attempts on goal than Sunderland, but they were defensively they were weak. Jared Bowen, not surprisingly, was their best player. 4 shots, 1 on target. He scored the opener against Chelsea at Stamford Bridge in February, by the way. So I think if you're looking for a pro West Ham bet, it's probably Jared Bowen to have shots on target or maybe even score. I think it's a good one for a bet builder here, and I'd be putting cards in there. 26 yellows and 2 reds, both for West Ham, between these two sides in the last 6 at West Ham. So I'd be looking at Palmer goal, I'd look at Bowen shot on target, over 4 yellow cards, both teams to score. I think West Ham they've got to get a goal, surely, Sam. I mean, they've got to improve from that first showing.
Well, I'd say, Lee, it'd be almost impossible for them to be as bad on Saturday as they were on Friday night as they were last Saturday. I mean, the goals they conceded was schoolboy defensively. I mean, they were pathetic. They were bullied from Sunderland. And yeah, offensively, I think if it's not Jared Bowen doing something, I'm not sure where their goals are coming from. And there's a few teams that have to do business between now and the end of the window. West Ham are one of those sides. They've got to bring in new players. Otherwise, they could be in big, big trouble. They're 2 games after this, by the way, Forest and Spurs. It already feels like Graham Potter is under pressure. But I know Chelsea were one of their best against Palace, Lee. But I like Chelsea here away from home. So that's Friday night. There's live radio commentary of that, by the way, on talkSPORT. Saturday, 12:30, Man City Spurs. Both sides winning on the opening day. City, incredibly, have won just 4 of their last 12 Premier League games against Spurs. And the last 4 Premier League meetings between these sides at the Etihad has produced 21 goals. 9 for City, 12 for Spurs. Are we expecting more goals, Lee?
Yeah, I think we will. I mean, it's a remarkable record, really, isn't it? That 21 goals. You look at the results as well. 4-0 to Spurs at City. 3-3 the time before that. 3-2 win back in 2022. Now, I guess a lot of the stats that we'll say about City are going to be skewed a little bit because of what happened to them last season. Now, was that an anomaly or not? We'll find out soon, won't we? Well, this will be a big indicator as well, what they do with Spurs here. But yeah, those games, that 3-3 and that 3-2, they were when City were in their pomp and playing really well. Interestingly, when you look back at those games in a bit more detail, Kulusevski was a star player in that run. Some of them include Harry Kane scoring, by the way. Heung-min Son, obviously, as well, involved in a lot of goals and assists. So we're talking about players, Kulusevski injured. We're talking about players who aren't available this weekend. I wonder if Tottenham have got the teeth to get through this. Interesting game to look out for the epic boost on. We'll have one on the Friday night game, have one on this one as well. I can't give you the details right now as we record this. They won't let me. But I did try. I promise everyone I did try.
You're teasing
keep an eye out for it. Last week's was Ollie Watkins to have a shot on target and that at even money, which landed, of course. And you get
just, by the way, didn't it? Late in the second half.
Yeah. So it'll be that kind of bet. So look out for it. I put up Tierney Reinders to score last week. He actually got the player treble up on the bet builder. If you don't know what that is, everyone's probably aware what a bet builder is. You can put your multiple bets on in the same game. You go for Reinders to score, assist, and get a card last week. That landed. It's unlikely does it 2 weeks in a row, but playing against a better team, inverted commas. You could see him getting involved in the action a lot. It's 70-1 for him to score, assist, and get a card, and impact sub. So if he goes off and he's done 2 of the 3, and the player who comes on, finishes it off for you, you still get paid out on that. And I like this Haaland to score because I think he's bang at it again. When is he not? Assisted by Reinders. 15-2. I do like that a lot. Reinders could pick up that De Bruyne thing where he's just feeding Haaland to just bang it in the back of the net. I think City win this though.
Yeah, I like City as well. I know it was only one game, but I was really impressed with them against Wolves on Saturday. They looked well organised. They dominated the game. I mean, Reinders looked absolutely fantastic. Haaland looked sharp, didn't he? I think we'll see less goals in this game because I think Thomas Frank is going to have, I think obviously clearly be a lot more adaptable than what, Spurs were under Ran. So I wouldn't be surprised, like in the PSG game, if they go to a back 5, sit deep, try and play on the counter. But I think City at home look good against Wolves. I like City here to win this game. That's the early kick-off, Saturday, 12:30. City Spurs. Saturday, 3 o'clock, Burnley, Sunderland. Both sides promoted, of course, from the Championship last season. Sunderland starting with that big win. Burnley losing at Spurs. Burnley have already conceded 19% Lee of the goals they conceded in the entirety of last season in just one Premier League match. Conceded 3. They've conceded 16 across the whole season. How do you see this game going then? Burnley, Sunderland. I'm maybe just edging towards Sunderland.
Yeah, it's a tough one, isn't it? I think it's got draw written all over it. And it's the biggest price of the 3 potential 90-minute outcomes as well. For me, surely, I haven't been in Burnley's training ground and seen what's going on, but surely the focus this week must be about defence. This is what they built their promotion on. Do not concede against Sunderland. That must be the mantra. We do not concede against Sunderland. We get a point absolute minimum. The last 2 games between these two at Turf Moor have been 0-0. 1 goal between them in the last 3 head-to-heads. I think this is low scoring. Sunderland got off to an absolute flyer. Brilliant. they were at home with all the kind of razzmatazz of that home crowd, and giving them that kind of that extra boost. They were pretty clinical as well, by the way. As we said, West Ham had more attempts on goal. Sunderland just finished theirs, and probably West Ham's deficiencies, they probably won't get that benefit against Burnley. So I'm not going to come in here and put up a 0-0 draw, but I will put up a draw.
There's nothing wrong with the 0-0 draw, Lee.
No, there's nothing.
Hey, that's
it just seems boring, doesn't
great
it?
0-0. Burnley Sunderland 0-0 at Turf Moor on a Saturday afternoon. Sounds like a belter of a game, an intriguing tactical battle between new promoted sides. Own the 0-0 draw. There are two other 3 o'clock games on Saturday. Bournemouth v Wolves, Brentford v Aston Villa. None of these four sides winning on the opening day of the season. With these two 3 o'clock games, any odds jumping out at you, Lee?
Yeah, well, the Bournemouth Wolves game, Bournemouth are a touch of odds on. Wolves around 3-1. The draw just under threes as we record this. The thing that jumps out here is when I was doing the prep on this game, and there was something in the back of my mind about do you remember the game at Molineux where Wolves gave away 3 penalties?
Yeah, it was tasty,
they lost
wasn't it?
4-2 in the end.
Yeah.
I've got no idea why this game is so spicy. 4 red cards in the last 5 head-to-heads. And Wolves have been handed 20.
It's the Gary O'Neill derby. I mean, it's one of the tastiest games in the whole Premier League. Come on, Lee.
Yeah, 26 yellows Wolves have been handed in 6 matches. Bournemouth 15, so that's 41 yellow cards and 4 reds in the last 6. Like I say, I've got a mate who's a Wolves fan, and I said to him, "What's the deal?" And he said, "Don't really know." He said, "Maybe it's just a bit of a statistical anomaly." But over 6 games? That doesn't make any sense. Incidentally, Jurgen Strand Larsen got 2 on that day. They lost 4-2 at Molineux. Had 4 shots versus City, and 2 on target. So I think if you're putting a bet builder together, then maybe put him in for at least a shot on target, maybe a goal. Probably have to play the draw again. I could be tempted by Wolves. If they go to over 3-1, I probably could be tempted by. I just don't know what you get with these two teams week in, week out.
Yeah, I think Bournemouth here at home to Wolves. I think I predicted on our goal show last week Wolves to really struggle this season. I think Bournemouth at home. I like Bournemouth here. Brentford Villa again. Brentford, another team many people tipping to struggle this season. Villa not at their best though on the opening day against Newcastle.
Yeah, I'm not sure why Brentford are the price they are. They're not big enough for me at home to Villa. Villa a touch of odds against as we record this. Now, that's just too big for me. I just think Villa, win at Brentford more often than not.
I think so too.
There'll be a distance between these two in the table by the end of the season. I was disappointed by Villa last week, to be honest. We watched the game live on talkSPORT Goals, and they were just getting going, weren't they, in the second half when they went down to 10 men. They couldn't break Newcastle down. I don't think they'll have that many problems breaking this Brentford side down, who made a lot of individual errors last week, losing to Forest. I think this is an acca. This goes in your acca. Villa, a touch of odds against, even if they're around even money. Even if they're just slightly odds on, I think I'd still put them in an acca. We've got acca boost all weekend, so you need 4 or more picks to activate the boost, and the more you put in, up to 15 builds up. We had one punter who won 18 grand last week, 30% boost on that, so it's well worth having a look at the acca boost, and if you play that, you get a free acca to use on football as well.
Yeah,
but I need to see Ollie Watkins further forward firing shots in. I need to see Rodgers doing the same. I need to see the Villa players peppering that Brentford goal though, because I just thought they were a little bit. I just don't think they were at it against Newcastle. Newcastle played really well, by the way. I don't know what you thought, but I just need to see Villa. For me to have confidence once I've backed them, I need to see them going for it here and really having a go at Brentford.
Yeah, this is the talkSPORT Goals preview show brought to you by Final One Standing, new from William Hill, 18+, gambleaware.org. This is the talkSPORT Goals preview show brought to you by Final One Standing, new from William Hill, 18+, gambleaware.org. It's Sam Ellard and William Hill's Lee Phelps talking you through the weekend's action. We've done five more to go, starting with Arsenal Leeds at the Emirates. This is the Saturday 5:30 kickoff. Both sides starting with wins. Arsenal going to Old Trafford and winning. Leeds Monday night under lights, Ellen Road beating Everton with that late penalty. Leeds have lost 10 of their last 12 Premier League away games against Arsenal, and Arsenal unbeaten in their last 42 Premier League home games against newly promoted sides. So I'm assuming here, obviously, Arsenal are going to be pretty short to beat Leeds. So in terms of prices that are jumping out with you, I mean, Victor Gyökeres to score, is that a price that a few punters might like?
Yeah, I think definitely that'd be one of the most popular bets on this game. I mean, the negative view of Gyökeres is that he won't be able to cut it at Premier League level week in, week out, despite his incredible scoring record in Portugal, you kind of think, well, if Leeds aren't quite at Premier League level, and not being unfair to Leeds, because they've obviously got first game of the season they go and beat Everton, who are an established Premier League club. But if they're not quite at the level, then this is the sort of team who Gyökeres has to score against. You think about it, like there's no the pressure will just keep mounting. We've seen it with players in the past, haven't we? Somewhere there's already pressure on him after the Man United game because lack of shots on goal. And I just think I think he has to have shots on target, and I think he has to score here. And I think a lot of people look out for the price boost on this game. We'll have epic boosts on the match as well. So keep an eye out for those because they'll revolve around goals and shots on target. And I think this is one where he has to look better. Incidentally, you talked about them being favourites. Leeds are given a 10% chance of winning this game on the odds.
That feels generous.
Yeah. If they play this game 100 times at Arsenal, do Leeds win more than 10 times?
In my opinion, no.
No. And I tend to agree with you. So that means that Leeds aren't big enough. You'd need to see them bigger than that. And I think they've been probably over respected by the traders here. I don't know what you thought of Arsenal. There wasn't much. A bit like Chelsea, there wasn't much cut through, was there? There wasn't much like that made you think, oh, they can score. You saw City. I know we're talking about playing different levels of opponent, but look at Spurs, you look at City, you look at Liverpool. They looked dynamic, didn't they? I didn't think Arsenal did.
I thought offensively, I think Arsenal were really, really poor. I think they really, really failed to click and create enough chances. That's the negative. I think the positive though from Arsenal is once again, like previous seasons, they do look like a really solid team defensively. The back five are so well drilled, well organised. I think Zubimendi's going to get better in that kind of role as a number 6. So not at their best, but I know it's so cliche. The sign of champions say is winning when you're not at your best. And Arsenal, certainly if Eze comes through, we'll hope that he'll bring plenty more creativity. Let's move on, Lee, to Sunday's games. Palace Forest. Now we know there's beef between Palace and Forest after Mr. Marinakis, the Forest owner, allegedly complained to UEFA about a breach of multi-club ownership rules, which ended up seeing Palace drop from Europa League to Conference League, Forest going Conference League to Europa League. It's going to be a tasty game, Lee.
Yeah, you're not kidding. I've heard a few Palace fans on talkSPORT saying that we've got nothing against the fans. It's not against the fans. There's not going to be beef between us and Forest. As if the Forest fans are not going to absolutely rinse them for it.
There'll be a few songs singing, I think. Yeah,
they're not going to set they're all respectful, are they? Yeah, this isn't it. This is the game that we didn't think would be this volatile, did we? Hard to pick in terms of the odds. Not much between the 3 results, Palace draw and Forest. It's been a low-scoring fixture. Last 6 have featured just 8 goals. Last 3 at Selhurst Park have been draws. Actually, last 4, but the 4th one was 2012, so can't really compare that one. I think James McAtee from City is a good signing for Forest. I think, you just wonder about what's going on around Palace, in terms of the transfer markets. I know there's still, we've seen, the players who are subject to transfers still playing for them and putting shifts in. But you just wonder, will that affect them? And Forest got off to a fly, didn't they? Chris Wood, I mean, just when you think, can he do it again? Well, he scores 2 on his opening game. He likes scoring in, as confidence players do and strikers do. He likes scoring in batches. Wouldn't be surprised to see him get on the score sheet or at least have shots on target. So for me, probably looking at the draw, both teams to score though. I think it should be an open game, and I'd have Chris Wood in my bet somewhere.
Yeah, this is the one for me where I think I sit on the fence and go for a score draw here. That's Sunday 2 o'clock. There's another Sunday 2 o'clock game. Everton-Brighton, the first ever competitive game. Everton's new stadium. They lost to Leeds on the first day. Lost their first 2 games in each of the last 3 seasons. No team in English top flight history has lost their first 2 matches in 4 seasons in a row without a relegation between. Do the bookies maybe just fancy Brighton here, Lee?
Yeah, it's an interesting game, isn't it? Because, Brighton, as I've said already, cost me last week in final one standing, and I thought they beat Fulham at home. Just again, bit of tooth. Felt like it was still the summer break a little bit for them. Like they weren't quite at it, and and all Fulham did was put a bit of pressure on them for 10 minutes and broke through in the end. We talked about Leeds last week. We talked about Sunderland last week with that new first game of the season at their home stadium, and that being a 12th player for them effectively. Surely this has got to be similar for Everton. Surely the atmosphere will be fantastic. They weren't great on Monday night at Elland Road. David Moyes having a real moan about this, that, and the other, wasn't he? About like leaks coming out of the camp and all that sort of stuff. They've got to be better this weekend, you'd have to think. And I think at just under 2-1 for Everton to win at home against a fairly toothless Brighton team, with the atmosphere, with the new stadium, it's got to be Everton, hasn't it?
I'm not sure. I'm so unsure about Everton. I'm not sure I can back Everton.
I was trying
yet.
my best to put a good case forward.
I know. I might be boring here, and like Palace Forest, I feel like I might. I don't trust either of these two sides, so I think I'm sitting on the fence here again and going for a score draw. Maybe I'll build a nice little lacquer for Sunday afternoon then with a couple of draws, might get a decent price. To Sunday 4:30, Man United lost against Arsenal, but got lots of praise because whilst they lost and didn't score, it did feel a bit more positive. Certainly Mbeumo and Cunha having good games. Do the bookies here think Man United will get their first point or points of the season?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's interesting because you look at like Fulham, Man United. You'd think in a couple of years gone by, it would have been, Man United have been very short. The 23-20, which probably about as short as you're going to go. So just a touch of odds against. I don't know with Manchester United. Like it's like when they're poor, they're absolutely terrible, and when they have a reasonable half, they're absolutely brilliant. I don't know if they were that good, but much better, by the way, much better. But you just think, again, it comes down to will the goals arrive, I guess. And Mbeumo's got a good record against Fulham, 3 goals against them in his 6 appearances. He scored 2 at Craven Cottage a couple of seasons ago. Again, I think the pressure will start to tell if these big summer signings don't start to deliver fairly soon. We'll all be talking about it, won't we? We'll be saying, what difference is there? What difference? Now, Fulham, you're never quite sure what you're going to get. They're solid, aren't they? They're not absolutely amazing by any stretch. It's just how much they push forward. Do you think Fulham will attack enough to give Man United the gaps gaps on the break to break them down and score more goals than Fulham? I can see a 2-1 maybe to Man United.
Yeah, I think Fulham being at home will look to be a bit more attacking than what they were against Brighton. I think you've talked me into 3 draws on Sunday, Leah. Like maybe all 3 games, I might sit on the fence and go for score draws in all 3 games. We've got about 90 seconds, and this game probably deserves more than 90 seconds, but it's Newcastle, it's Liverpool, it's live on talkSPORT, it's Monday night, and I think we all know why, but this game is going to be a little bit more tasty than usual.
Yeah, what a fixture. Historically, it's been a great fixture in the Premier League, hasn't it, with goals and controversy as well. Newcastle, as we record this now, 23-10. The draw 27-10, so just under 3-1. Liverpool 21-20, so you're getting odds against Liverpool going to Newcastle. Wow, I mean,
That surprised you, Lee? Yeah, that feels generous, no?
Yeah, maybe, yeah, but I mean, Newcastle at home with what's going on, and we talk about the home grounds. Probably, I'm not sure Liverpool will be odds against by the time we get to Monday night. Put it that way. But yeah, I think you probably have to back Liverpool. I'll be looking at I bet builder boost over the weekend. I'll be looking at the big boost on the individual players in this one. But you know what I'm going to say. Katiko is great, Salah's great. I think Liverpool should win this, but I think both teams will score. For me, Newcastle without Isak, quite simple. Haven't got any goals in the team.
Well, we saw that Saturday, didn't we? They're absolutely toothless, weren't they, against Aston Villa? Any markets on Alexander Isak? Do you think he's going to be there? Where do you think Mr. Isak's going to be watching?
I was wondering if it might. I don't know if you remember when Chris Eubank Jr. fought Conor Benn and Chris Eubank appeared like WWE style.
Out of his car,
does Isak appear in the tunnel, like the cameras on him all of a sudden? The place goes crazy.
I think Alexander Isak is going to stay far away from St James's Park on a Monday night, given everything that's happened over the last couple of weeks. Lee, that was fun. It goes quick. Looking forward to being with you on Sunday afternoon, where I'm guessing, my prediction is we're going to watch a lot of draws together on Sunday.
Well, let's hope we're both wrong.
There's
loads of goals.
Let's hope so. Thanks for joining us for the talkSPORT Goals preview show brought to you by Final One Standing. I'm still in. Let's go. It's new from William Hill, 18+, gambleaware.org. We'll see you for talkSPORT Goals this Sunday live on talkSPORT's YouTube channel and on your smart TV to keep you across all of the Premier League action, including Manchester United's trip to Craven Cottage. We'll see you then on Sunday afternoon.